Yeah, I missed it. All right. Hello, tubers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And thank you for coming on and joining Coopersthaiadventure talks on Mondays, all about crypto. And today we really want to talk about MicroStrategy. Now, MicroStrategy is an ETF. They're a digital company, and they have gone very hard on Bitcoin. Michael Saylor being the CEO, and he has done quite a lot for the Bitcoin community. And he's buying and buying and buying and buying and buying nonstop every week now for the last 7 weeks, I think. If he buys again today, I think it'll be 7 weeks.
8, I think,
in a row that he's bought a whack of Bitcoin. In other words, over 1,000 Bitcoin. And they've just entered the triple Q on the stock market, and that's like the top 100 companies that a lot of people just say to our stockbroker, hey, I want to invest, and I want to return, and they recommend into the top 100 companies, and they allocate into all 100. And that's just happened. But the bigger news that he came out with was that he now wants to have 10 billion shares, from 300 million to 10 billion. And I'm the skeptic on this one. Brooke is Yahoo, let's go, and we're going to go over our points. So I'm going to take it over to Mr. Brooke Schneider. Why is he doing this?
Before I get into that, MicroStrategy is actually not an ETF. Kind of acts a bit like it because it's hodling the Bitcoin, but they're a company and they do issue shares, which is what we're talking about, and also convertible debt, meaning bonds that are convertible. So that's what they're doing now. Why are they doing it? He's doing it to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah. And it seems like a lot. And initially, when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's going to really dilute the shares. But a couple things. Instead of going to the market, every now and then for 100 million or whatever, hey, just do it all at once and get it done with. So I see that point. Secondly, who's to say he's going to allocate that? Might take years to do that. But he's a sharp investor, so he's doing that in order to obviously buy Bitcoin.
Right.
If at the point in time when he deems it the best. Now he has said in the past, he's going to be buying in the future at the highs. In other words, he'll be always buying, and which I like. But the key thing, and this is what a lot of people find hard to understand, every time he buys Bitcoin, it improves the shareholders' holdings per share.
Yeah, I
Now
get that.
That's kind of hard for most people, because they say, well, why don't you just buy Bitcoin? Here's why. He's selling the shares at basically double the value of the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So in other words, people are paying him a premium for these shares instead of buying simply the Bitcoin. And I think the reason is because they see it's going to the moon.
Right.
So when he's selling these shares at basically double what the value is, he turns around and immediately buys Bitcoin with all the proceeds. So in other words, the amount of Bitcoin on the balance sheet is actually growing for each shareholder. So, and it's statistically proven. If you go back several quarters, several years even, you'll see that the amount of Bitcoin owned per share has steadily gone up.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking price. I'm talking the amount of Bitcoin per share. Well, bingo, that's what you want to be in.
And I get that. I do get that. But here's what I don't get. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are thinking exactly the same thing, is if he's going to issue 10 billion more shares, he doesn't have enough Bitcoin to compensate his shareholders, and therefore the price of the shares will go down. I'm doing my best estimate, and I've looked at a lot of what other people are saying. It can go down as far as 97%. Now, if you're paying $330 for a share at today's price, 333, I think it is. Do you really want your share price that you paid to drop 97%?
Well, no one does, but I doubt very much that would ever happen.
Unless he's planning on doing a stock split. Now, disclaimer, folks, both Brooke and I own MicroStrategy shares. And Michael Saylor did say that he wanted to have a shareholder meeting sometime in the new year. So I guess Brooke and I will get a notification, and we'll be in a Zoom call, with millions of other people, listening to what he has to say in his argument as to why he wants to do this. Now, I would be all for it if he turned around and said, okay, I'm going to 33.1x the shares, and therefore I'm going to give you 33.1x for each share that you've got. Then I would be all for it, because I'm not losing money. Is that what you see going forward?
No.
What do you see?
Okay, so I'm not at all worried with dilution of the shares.
Okay.
I'm more worried about how much Bitcoin per share do I actually own. And as long as that keeps going up, I'm happy camper. More shares he issued, more Bitcoin I own. Good. What will determine it is the value of the share compared to Bitcoin. So currently, MicroStrategy trades at about double the value, of the Bitcoin on the balance sheet.
Right.
So in other words, you're kind of paying a premium, versus say just simply buying the Bitcoin. But obviously, people are doing it. They like the shares. They like the option premium. Possibly, they think there's a good future. They want to be with a company that, hey, they see that big bag of Bitcoin growing. That's the reason they're paying this premium, which currently is double. Now, if that were to go even, like say 1-to-1, well, then your shares equal to the value of the Bitcoin. So there's no advantage to issuing shares.
Yeah.
yeah, you're stagnant. And then when you issue more shares, you're, in a way diluting. I mean, if you're buying Bitcoin, you're probably not. You're just not growing your bag. Okay. So, but that's hey, listen, he's hit on the guy's a smart guy.
Oh, very
and
smart.
he's hit on this idea of the infinite money loop, where, boy, if people are going to continue to pay double, I go and take that money, buy Bitcoin, put it on the balance sheet, so every shareholder's value of Bitcoin, or sorry, not value, quantity of Bitcoin grows for each share. Man, that's a win-win. Interestingly enough, he also sought approval, and will get it, for convertible bonds issuing.
Yes.
He's done a fair bit of that currently. And I mean, I think the last few were at 0% interest. So people are lending him money at 0%. So I think the average on the whole company's balance sheet is like 0.06%. So it's less than even 1% interest rate he's paying. But anyways, these convertible bonds, there's a theory that people might be paying him interest to lend money. Like, we'll see if that happens. But if you can get money at zero, you're going to take it. And again, he takes that money, buys Bitcoin, puts it on the balance sheet. Every shareholder's quantity of Bitcoin increases. So, no, I got no issues with it. I think it's a great thing. And again, guys, this isn't financial advice. We're just a couple guys on the internet that, done a bit of research and thinking, maybe I like this idea of holding Bitcoin through MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
And lastly, Coop, there's a lot of people on the planet that can't actually buy Bitcoin for whatever reason. Their governments are, or their financial advisors, maybe Vanguard. No, we don't want you dealing with that. Basically telling you what you can and can't do with your money.
Yeah.
They can, however, buy MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
So, it's funny how that works, but that would be a way for them to actually get exposure to Bitcoin, even though their countries might be dead set against it, or their advisors. So, anyways, that's my take on it.
Okay, well, let's see who we got on, and let's hear your take on it. Do you think what Michael Saylor is proposing to increase the amount of stocks he has from 300 million to 10 billion is a good idea?
Robert Pierpont, hello, Super Cooper, and Booking at Brooke.
And hello, Robert. Thanks for coming on and joining us.
Book 'em, Dano. Captain Action, hello, cousins. Finger red #1.
And thank you, Captain Action. And to repeat what Brooke said, this is not financial advice. We have this segment on our channel because this is how we raise the amount of money that we're getting from our pensions back home, and have a better lifestyle for doing it.
Yeah, we've both done well.
We both have done very well.
And so we're just kind of relating that to the channel, and not telling people what to do, just so more or less our experiences.
Yeah. Just sharing it with fellow crypto lovers.
Yeah.
On the channel.
Greg Smits, good morning, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the Christmas holidays, and Happy New Year.
And we are. Thank you, Greg. There will not be a live stream this Wednesday, as we will be in a hotel, Darlene and I, probably hungover from the New Year, and having a relaxing massage, a much needed one. We haven't had one, I don't think, for about 3-4 months now. So much overdue back massage for me and Darlene.
Well, that's New Year's Day.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll be back to our normal streams about Thailand on Saturday.
I wouldn't have a clue how to do the technical setup. So I'd be talking to myself if I was here. Ken Beck, hello, fellow Bitcoiners.
And hello, Ken. Kenny. Thank you for coming on and joining us.
Daniel Hall, Danny Vega. Robert Pierpont, Bitcoin is looking bearish as of late.
It has its mood swings like anything else.
Well,
I think, Bitcoin is currently at 93,000 from its all-time high of 108. It does have these fluctuations. It's quite normal in a bull market, on a halving, the year after the halving. So expect these fluctuations. It's consolidation before the next upward move.
I tend to totally agree with that. It's I wouldn't even call it bearish, Robert. It's kind of treading water. It's range bound, and as Coop said, it's kind of consolidating at the current level, price levels. I tell people, and I firmly believe it, Bitcoin's on sale.
It is.
It is. You're not too, and so is MicroStrategy.
Soon in the future, you're not going to see Bitcoin under 100,000.
You better.
And like they say, those that have held Bitcoin for 4 years or more have never lost money ever since its conception. And the people that tend to lose money in crypto tend to be the ones that buy near the high and then panic when it drops and sells.
Yeah.
So
they're called paper hands.
Exactly. Maybe you put $1,000 into Bitcoin and, you bought it at 105 and now it's 93. You get upset. You lost over $100 and you sell it, and then a month later it's above 120, so it's those what we call paper hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what kind of why we're both, I think, bullish is that we've gone through, let's face it, the US is huge in the world in, stock market, trading, whatever. So they kind of set the trend, let's say, set the tone. And we came through with the past administration, soon still in power, but soon to be out, of total anti-crypto.
Yes.
Basis. And so it's survived through all that, and I think has done well. Well, guess what? We're coming into what I would say is a polar opposite administration who has House of Representatives, Senate, and President all backing crypto. So there will be regulation. There will be a positive atmosphere towards crypto. And, obviously Bitcoin's the biggest part of that. So I think the kind of writing's on the wall as to where Bitcoin's headed.
Yes.
And personally, I think it's going to be the savior for the U.S. economy of their deficit issues.
So with that being said, in hindsight, do you think that the new administration is going to pass the Bitcoin Act?
I do.
And have a strategic Bitcoin reserve?
I do.
Why? Because the betting odds has it at 40%.
Well,
chance that it'll happen.
Okay. So, and that's without anything being passed or put on the table or voted or anything, which is pretty good for 40% at this stage of the game. Why, I think? Because I still believe common sense will prevail. And when you look at and do your research, and they're obviously getting more and more qualified people involved in, he's got some sharp guys surrounding him.
Right.
And these aren't no dummies. And they're obviously going to be advising, hey, this is a way to actually fix a lot of the issues in the U.S. pertaining to their deficits. And how they would do that is likely issue these bonds, treasuries, they call them. And, they've been able to do that for years and years, decades, no problem. Everybody wanted the U.S. Treasury. Well, guess what? This past year kind of showed them, maybe they're not so interested in our treasuries anymore. The deficit's getting out of hand. The debt's getting out of hand. Well, when you've got treasuries that are backed in part by Bitcoin, they're going to take another look at it. So there's a little more, it's like selling treasuries backed on gold, the old reserve asset.
Yeah.
Well, now people would have jumped at that. Currently, there's nothing backing up except more paper money. So, yeah. So I think that's the reason common sense will prevail, that they will go that way. And anyways.
To counteract their debt that they currently have.
Which I think is the biggest problem they're going to face, because the interest alone at the current rates on that debt, it's going to surpass even Social Security and military spending. Well, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And they have these guys called the bond vigilantes. And regardless of what the states says they're going to do or try and do, the bond vigilantes, which are throughout the world, will say, hey, we don't want your bonds anymore unless you're going to pay us 12%, 10%, whatever. Well, that just makes the thing worse.
Yeah.
It's like a snowball rolling down the hill. It's getting bigger and bigger and worse, and then all of a sudden it, crashes. So yeah, something has to be done.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
And I think that they're going to pass it because they have to. I think it's no longer a question of, okay, we had, millions of dollars donated to our campaign by Bitcoiners. We could stab them in the back and say, no, we're not going to do it, and, thank you for your donation, happens all around the world. We know that, these senators and Congress people will promise you the earth just to get your vote and then never go through with it. But I think this is a case of they actually have to, because the American debt to the taxpayer is now $35 trillion.
And rising.
And rising daily. And they don't have enough money. And they have to borrow every single year. Without fail, they're borrowing since the 1970s. I've seen it on a bar graph, go up. And like you said, it's not sustainable. They're going to borrow so much that basically they're going to have to tax the American citizen to oblivion.
Which they won't do.
No, because there'd be chaos and anarchy.
Yeah.
People would lose their homes, they would lose their businesses, they'd lose their jobs. I can't see that happening. So they got to do something. And right now, the only way out of it I can see is Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, the debt has to get paid eventually.
Yeah.
We've all known that, but we've known that for decades, and they continue to do it. I just think we're much, much closer to that end of continually thinking you can do that. And so the way out of that is, obviously, if you can kind of hold the debt and grow your GDP, your gross domestic product, in other words, build the economy up, that is another way you can actually get out of that issue. But, those low interest rates for so many years didn't probably help things. Now, luckily, in my opinion, it's shared by a lot of people, Trump is very, very pro-business. He wants to see the stock market do well. Well, that stock market's based on how companies perform. So I would say going forward under his presidency, we'll probably see a healthy stock market. There'll be ups and downs, but 4 years from now, it's probably much higher than it is today. If they can hold the debt down, they're not going to save a lot through Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. How much can they cut? Some of it maybe, but you're not going to be able to cut $30 billion. No. Well, yeah, even that's good.
Yeah.
I think the big thing with Doge is getting rid of all the bullshit regulations that are stifling, free enterprise. And I would tell anyone out there watching, like, there's a really sharp guy. I think he used to run the Fed at one time, or at least Milton Friedman. And my God, he's back in the 70s. You listen to what that guy was saying about, taxation and government spending and this debt. And he was like prescient. He knew 40, 50 years ago where they're headed and where they're now. So yeah, go back and watch.
He was absolutely correct.
He was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Greg Smiths, I have been living off my Bitcoin shares. Well done.
And I'm pretty much in the same shoes as you, Greg. I have taken profits off the table, and I will continue to take profits off the table as Bitcoin goes up. And so that way I eventually get my initial deposit that I've put into Bitcoin back, and I'm playing with house money. That's the name of the game. Play with house money. Get your money back when you can, and just leave the rest in there and let it grow.
Yeah, it's never hurts taking a profit. Alf Romeo, good morning from a beautiful sunny day in Thailand. It's lovely weather here. He's right. In Saylor we trust. Correct. MST Microstrategy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, everyone.
And Merry Christmas and advanced Happy New Year to all of our listeners and watchers on Coopersthaiadventure.
Alf is having a ball here.
He is.
Yeah.
And he loves to say that. Hello from Thailand.
Yes. He's been here many times, and he likes the patio area. He knows all the vendors there and the places to stay and where the deals are. And
he knows where to get 100 baht massage.
Can't beat that
Cheapest
deal.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he showed me where it was and the sign on the door, 100 baht for 1 hour. I'm like, yeah, no brainer.
Robert Pierpont, part of the 10 billion shares will go to stock splits. The strategy relies on a strong options market. And if the price is too high per share, then buying options are not a reality for retail traders.
And that's exactly what I'm hoping is going to happen. We should get an email inviting us with a link to join in on the Zoom call. And we all get a vote. Every shareholder gets a vote. And I would be 100% for it if I got a stock split, like a 10-for-1, like they did earlier this year.
And they, in my opinion, will.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be till we get closer to $1,000 a share.
And
similar to what it was last time.
I think that's going to happen by the end of February.
Well,
I
think next year sometime.
Yeah. I think by the end of February, we'll be looking at $1,000 a share.
Wouldn't that be nice?
A Microstrategy. Yeah.
Now, as far as the options, I only look at selling calls. So I actually prefer a volatile options market, means high volatility, higher premiums. And but yeah, there's the stock split, I think, Robert, will happen. The options on MicroStrategy are phenomenal, the volumes. So it's a very liquid market, which is good. And the premiums are great. It can be expensive if you're buying the calls, as he's mentioned there. But anyways, yeah, that's interesting.
It is interesting. And I agree with Robert 100% for the stock split. I think there has to be one. If they did, 10-for-1 split or 100-for-1 split, I would be happy either way. I'd be more happier with the 100-to-1 split, of course. And in crypto, folks, doesn't matter whether you're into Bitcoin or altcoins or meme coins. If you're going to dabble in this market, you have to be a patient person. Don't put more than you can afford in. And, you can't be one of those persons that put all your bag into one. You got to diversify. And when they go down, don't sweat it, because it's going to go back up. Now, for the altcoins, altcoin season will happen next year. Always does. It follows Bitcoin. And the altcoin season next year, I'm thinking is going to be hard and fast. And that I think is going to spike up in a 2 to 3 week time frame. And then it's going to be over.
Ooh, short.
So it's
short season.
I think it's going to be, it's like a coil. The coil's getting wound and tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually it's going to break. And the prices are just going to go skyrocket for the altcoins. And I do believe altcoin season is coming. I can see it on the cards. I do follow a lot of the influencers for altcoins. And I can see the writing on the wall, the people that will jump off the Bitcoin bag and straight into the altcoin, and that's what pumps it up. So Bitcoin has its run, then the altcoins have the run after. And I can see it being explosive, very fast. So get out quick when you reach that profit level that you're comfortable with. And don't be too greedy, folks, because it can go down very fast as well. So that's my advice to all those that are in altcoins on the channel.
I have no use for altcoins.
None.
No, mainly because I don't do any research on them. I've done all my research on Bitcoin. I know where it's going, why it's going, and how it's going that way. But so that's where I stay, is with.
Yeah. Now, my two favorites on altcoins right now are XRP and Solana.
They're definitely Solana. The guy I follow, James Invest Answers, by the way, he likes Sol.
Yeah.
And I mean, that if I was to do research and look at something, that probably would be it. But hey, anyways, I'm okay with what I do. Tim P, good day, Coop, Brooke, and Darlene. Sorry I'm late for Bitcoin 101 class. I hope you folks are well. We are, Timmy.
And thank you, Tim, for coming on and joining
Tim the
us.
Timinator. Scotty Richmond, there's Scotty from California. Good morning, CVD, and everyone else watching.
And hello, Scotty. Thank you for coming on and
Thanks
joining
for the
us.
tip on the mixer, by the way.
Yeah, I got to get in touch with them at a convenient time between us and America, and get on the technical support.
Yeah,
because I haven't found anybody else that's got this problem.
No,
me and Darlene have researched.
Well, I think once Scotty's here, hopefully he's able to, boots on the ground, hands on the machine, figure out how to.
He's our technical
whiz. Yeah, he'll be our technical whiz, our technical guru. Heath McDaniel, I'll have a coffee hangover from trying to stay up till midnight.
Yeah, we're gonna stay up in the hotel and watch the fireworks. They got a rooftop bar in a prime location, so we can see all the beach area, and they have the fireworks all the way from Valley High Pier, which is sort of Pratamac area,
right,
all the way down to Wongamat Beach, and we can see all of it from the rooftop there. So we should have a very good show.
Interesting. There you go. And Truck Morton, there's Annie. Hello, everyone. I'm just trying to understand this crypto stuff.
Yeah, and she goes on to say,
today does seem like a buying opportunity. It is.
Yeah. Whenever it's down, that's always a buying opportunity. And the one thing I like to watch is the fear and greed indicator. When the fear and greed is down like 20, it's down at 20 to 30, fantastic buying opportunity. When fear and greed is up at 90, that's when you want to be looking at selling, taking some profits.
Seems to be the idea. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Follow the indicator.
I would say, Annie, do your research through YouTube. Get on Invest Answers. He's got some great videos. I'd watch that video with Tucker Carlson and Michael Saylor. Tucker interviews Michael. It's a little over an hour, but a great layman's terms of what Bitcoin is, what inflation, what money is, and why you want it. So just start doing your research. Glenn Picola, hello, everyone. I'm curious if it might be better for MSTR to buy Mara or CleanSpark and mine Bitcoin cheaper than buying it. Well, that's an idea that's been bandied about.
It has by the stockholders.
Yeah.
But Michael Saylor has said no. He doesn't want to get into the mining aspect of it. He just wants to own the pure Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, I think that's I think Saylor's at a point where why take on this extra risk?
Yeah.
And it's like a totally different process. He's got a pretty streamlined thing he's doing right now. Hey, issue these bonds, issue these shares, buy Bitcoin, load the balance sheet. He's kind of probably going to be the biggest holder, if not him and BlackRock. But keep in mind, guys, it's not one company owning this Bitcoin. It's the shareholders.
Yes.
So there's tens of thousands of shareholders of MicroStrategy. So in a way, we're all participating in Bitcoin's rise. But no, I don't see that happening. If anything, Mara and Riot for sure. CleanSpark, I'm not so sure just now, but they're actually trying to pull a Saylor.
Yes.
They're issuing shares to buy Bitcoin. It's kind of like a chocolate factory, not selling any chocolate because they're hoarding it, and they're buying chocolate on the open market.
Yeah.
Like, hello, strange times we live in. But the miners really haven't taken off at all. They're so far behind. Their day is coming, in my opinion. I do have some miners, Mara, CleanSpark, and a bit of Riot too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Alpha Romeo, gents, thanks for sharing your stock crypto insight. Thankfully, I listened and implemented and took action. He did. He's a happy camper.
He even says it.
I'm so happy when Bitcoin takes a dip. It's a great buying opportunity. Romeo would call me from Canada and bought a little more in the dip last night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's slowly DCAing, dollar cost averaging into it. And that's good. It's a good process. And anything, guys, and Coops mentioned this too, buy and hold. That's your best strategy long term. I used to try and trade in my younger days, and some you win, some you don't. But looking back, if I had just held the damn stuff without trading, I would have done way better. So
yeah,
buy and hold.
Buy and hold.
As Alpha's doing. Gunslinger Jaggedy, Bitcoin will have an 80% correction in 2025, as will all cryptos. Get out now. Buy platinum, silver, and gold. Well, we got a gold bug there.
Yeah, we got a gold bug. And will Bitcoin have an 80% correction next year? Quite possibly. It is possible. But for it to hit that 80% correction, in my opinion now, Bitcoin would have to be at $1 million. It would have to be, it would just have to take off so fast.
FOMO.
That FOMO gets in, nation states join it. Maybe some European countries decide to do a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and everybody's just jumping on the bandwagon as quick as they can. And this happens in a 2-month time frame. Say it goes from 120 to 1 million. If something crazy was like that to happen, then yes, I could see a 80% pullback. And then it will drop down to 200,000. Well, if you bought in at 100,000 or below, you doubled your money. So you would still be happy. You would be like, damn, I missed the top. I'll have to wait 4 years, for the next big top to happen. And then maybe that one comes in at 2 million, the top there. So it does go in cycles. And that's why I say take your profits little by little as it's going up.
I don't see, I never would have thought of an 80% correction, but just with that explanation, that if it FOMO'd up, a 10x in 6 weeks,
yes,
then I could definitely say you're onto something there.
Yeah,
because the quicker and higher it goes, the steeper the decline, because it will revert to trend and mean.
Yes.
Other than that, there'd have to be a black swan event, like a nuclear, war or something, before I'd ever see an 80%. But it'll still be the one standing after all said and done. That's my thinking on that. As far as platinum, silver, and gold, guys, my viewpoint: do your research. They can mine more all the time, and you want more gold, just dig deeper. That's all you got to do. It's slowly being exchanged or losing its status as a reserve asset to Bitcoin. And you're going to see more of that in the future, where, oh boy, gold. Yeah. Now would gold go up? Yeah, it might double. It might double in 10 years, but you're going to have a 10x on Bitcoin in 10 years. So,
well, you got to follow the news. And just a few months ago, China announced that they found a big
stash
of gold in a mountain somewhere. Well, Bukele came out in the last 2 weeks and said, yeah, we did too. We just found a whole stash of gold, and it's going to take us 10 years to mine it all. It's substantial amount. Well, what's that going to do to the price of gold? In my opinion, gold's going to go down.
I think they'll be selling it to buy Bitcoin.
Once they start mining it and putting it on the open market, of course, you're putting too much on the market, the price is going to drop. Well, Bitcoin, every time somebody mines it, that's one less that they have to mine in the future.
True.
There's only 1 million Bitcoin left to be mined. I'm sure there's a lot more than 1 million ounces of gold left to be mined.
Well, true. RB, good on yous. I'm a holder as well.
Yeah, and so are we.
Alpha Male, oh, did I mention I love this place and the wonderful people I've met here? Yes. He's Canadian, by the way, guys, from not too far from my hometown. So
yeah, great guy.
We have a great time. Billy Mayfield, where does your money go when you buy a Bitcoin, and why would the miners take a worthless currency for a Bitcoin?
Very good statement, Matt.
Yeah. So where does your money go when you buy a Bitcoin? Well, it goes to whoever's selling the Bitcoin. Now, obviously, for every buy, there has to be a sell and vice versa. So will the exchanges ever run out of Bitcoin? No, you'll see the price go up. There'll always be Bitcoin for sale. Okay, first off. Why would the miners take a worthless currency for a Bitcoin? Well, they got to pay their, not all the miners sell their coins that they mine. Quite a few do, but maybe they have to. Obviously, I think they do. They got to pay their bills. They got to pay
smaller miners. Yeah,
the smaller miners. They got to pay the electric bill. They got to pay the wages to the workers, the office staff, whatever. So that they have to sell. But your big boys, meaning Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, they're not selling now. They're actually hoarding their coin. If anything, they're going on the open market and buying more Bitcoin. They kind of see where the writing's on the wall there. But anyways, the currency's not worthless, but if you hold on it too long, it will be. So
it's depreciating, somewhere between 6 and 12% per year. So that $1 US you got next year is going to be worth 6 to 12% less.
Yeah.
You think about it, folks. You used to be able to go to the supermarket 20 years ago and fill up your basket for $100. Can you do that now? No. You're paying $300 to fill up your cart now, if you're going to the supermarket. Your electricity bills have gone up, your gas bills have gone up, your home insurance, your taxes, your rates, everything has gone up over the last 20 years. So that makes the dollar bill worth less and less and less, and hence why governments keep printing money.
Yeah.
And they have to cope with the rate of inflation. They have to print money. And that is like a cycle that Michael Saylor has seen, that, okay, I can keep getting loans at near 0% and buying more Bitcoin, and that drives the price of Bitcoin up. America, what they're doing, as a lot of countries around the world, they're printing more money, and that's devaluing. So it's having the opposite effect. It's not making the dollar stronger, it's making it weaker. So that's why today's topic is, about, what can you do to protect yourself as the price of everything goes up? And Brooke and I are sharing our experiences. We're not advising anybody to do what we do. We're just telling you our experience and let you do your own research to decide whether this is a good investment for you too. I see the futures on the wall that, we're going to have driverless cars. We're going to have, digital currency, moving away from paper currency. I can see right now Russia and China, due to the sanctions that they both have and the new ones that will be coming in, they're going to be trying to move away from the US dollar, hence why we have the BRICS nations. And what are these countries looking at right now to get away from the US dollar? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Russia said it, China said it. We want to get away from Bitcoin. We want to, we want to get away from the US dollar. The dollar is crippling our economy because of the amount of sanctions we have against it, and I'm not going to get into political reasons on the channel. That's immaterial. And they got to have something to go to. Here in Thailand, the ruble, which is the Russian currency, is worthless. Of all the money exchanges they've got here, and they've got over 100 money exchanges here in Pattaya, Jomtien area, none of them will accept rubles.
No kidding.
Not
there you go.
One. You could give them 1 million rubles. They wouldn't give you one Thai baht for it.
No.
They won't accept it. So the Russians that come out here, and there's a lot in Thailand, they have to somehow get a hold of another currency to change that into baht. Now, whether they're getting euros or dollars or, the yen, I don't know. But they're doing it somehow, to be able to afford to live here in Thailand and wait for, world events to change for them, to make it safe for them to go home. And it's just, you see people moving away from currencies. And I watch this religiously, folks. I spend average day 10 hours on YouTube.
Whoa.
10 hours a day researching. I'm like a squirrel after a nut.
Well, and you've got that crystal ball.
No, I got no crystal ball.
Well,
I
you
wish
said you
I
saw
did.
the future. You see the future.
I could see the writing on the wall where we're going.
Okay.
AI is going to be fantastic in the future. I think, Grok right now on Facebook, you can get it to do quite a lot of things for you. If you wanted to create your own web page, you could and make it about a subject that interests a lot of people. Maybe it's about cars or something, or airplanes, and you could tell Grok, write me a page for today's topic, and here's the topic. Yeah, and make it 1,000 words, and touch on this, and this, and Grok will do it for you.
Wow.
So they're not even sitting there thinking, and typing it out. Grok's doing it. What is Grok? It's a form of AI. Things are changing. I mean, years ago, Brooke, when I was a kid, we had 2 styrofoam cups and a string. That's how I spoke to the neighborhood girl that lived across the street from me that I had a crush on. We had those cups and we talk at night, when our parents were sleeping. Now we got cell phones. We went to cell pagers and then cell phones. And now we have internet and FaceTime. You can see me, I can see you on a video call. So yeah, technology is moving super, super fast. And God, I'd love to be a fly on the wall and see where we are in 100 years' time.
Living on Mars.
Living on Mars, exactly.
Mike says, good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning to you, Mike, and advance Happy New Year, brother.
Eddie Rojo, Rothschilds can pay off the debt.
I don't think they got 35 trillion, the Rothschilds.
No, nor would they want to.
We don't have a trillionaire yet on the planet.
No. Robert Pierpont, I agree. You won't see a stock split until 1,000K or more. It's talking about MicroStrategy here. Yeah. That's when the option prices get too high for the average retail trader to buy. Yeah.
And they'll have to do a stock split.
I like the idea of the stock split because it actually gives you more versatility with your contracts. And he's got a good point about the prices. So.
And I can see one other company that's going to do a stock split next year as well.
Tesla.
Let's
hope so.
Because Tesla, I think in the first 3 months of the new administration, it's going to be well over $600 a share.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tesla's what I'm looking at getting into more this year.
That's my plan for next year.
Yeah. My Bitcoin bag's big enough. Giovanni Poulos, there's Johnny. Good morning, Cooper, Brooke, and Darlene from a beautiful day in Jumtien. How's that coffee, Johnny?
Yeah, good morning to you, Giovanni.
843 Photography. Invest Answers released his 25 game plan 5 hours ago. Very informative video. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And he did the day before. Go back, guys, and watch this Invest Answers on YouTube. He did his 24 recap.
Yeah.
So a year ago,
his
predictions, how he did on his predictions. And geez, I think he was like, 3 or 4 wrong out of 15 or so. So he's mostly right. And he was close on the others, but he's pretty well measures everything. So unless he hits it dead on, that's it. But he also released the next day, as 843 says, his 2025 plan, like predictions for this year. They were quite interesting. So he's got Bitcoin going up, MicroStrategy going up, Tesla going up.
Yeah, and to make sure he's right, he sandbags a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
He gives a low ball figure.
figure.
So when it goes way above it, makes himself look real good. So very good to watch.
Alpha Mayo, if Bitcoin has a 40 to 80% correction in 25, I'm backing up the truck and loading up. I wish we could borrow at 0 to 0.6%. Wouldn't that be
like
nice?
Saylor can?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're a billionaire, you can.
Yeah, we'll probably all be doing that, Alpha. So, you won't be the only one. Robert Pierpont, gold's value is more related to currency value. Inflation on currency makes your currency buy less gold. Gold doesn't get more valuable. Currency gets less valuable. He's got a good point. and gold protects you from that. It can.
It can.
I just think Bitcoin will protect you better.
I do.
Yeah.
And like I said, Robert, you know, when China and El Salvador start mining this big gold find that they recently announced in the last couple of months, China is going to flood the market with it, just like they did with steel. You know, they flooded the market with steel, and you know the local producers of steel, like U.S. Steel, couldn't compete. You know, it drove a lot of companies out of business. In England, I remember, because you know I'm half British, half American. My mom's British, and so I sort of follow both countries. And it closed down a lot of steel factories in England because they couldn't compete with the price, and because you know England's sort of free trade, free market, they didn't put tariffs on it, you know, or try to slow it down. They just said to the businesses, "Sorry, that's life."
Yeah,
you know.
One thing with the gold guys is, and I, you know, I've good friends with gold, but I always say to them, "How do you plan on getting that out of the country if you did want to leave?" Or you know, it's not as easy as people think. It's great to have it, sure, but boy, if you want to travel, how are you going to take it with you? You know, and there's a little more logistics to that than the simple owning gold. So. Alfredo, Thailand was invited to join the BRICS.
Yes, it was.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's been invited to join. They haven't decided yet whether they want to. I think Thailand is afraid of moving away from the US dollar. They don't. Thailand is a country, it wants to be friends with everybody. It's sort of like a Brooke Schneider. You know, Brooke likes to be friends with everybody. He doesn't like any, you know, drama or anything like that. And you know, he tries to see the good in everybody, and that's like the country of Thailand, which is a good thing.
But I'm here,
you know, and they don't want to upset America, but they don't want to upset Russia and China either. So they're sort of stuck on the fence there of what to do. So time will tell on the writing on the wall. If America goes and does this strategic Bitcoin reserve, I think that gives Thailand a sort of entryway, maybe to join the BRICS, you know, nation, and trade in crypto as well. And when I say crypto, I mean Bitcoin. So I think there is some, you know, way that Thailand could join it, but certain elements would have to come into place first.
U.S. adopts a Bitcoin reserve. It'll be you'll see a FOMO from other governments to get in on the same thing.
Yes.
And Saylor's right. Like he says, the first government that prints paper money to buy Bitcoin
wins.
Yes. So let's hope it's Canada.
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to happen.
57 people on, 60 people online. If you're watching, please give us a thumbs up. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost a penny, and it really helps support the channel.
Malcolm Hawkins says, "Good day, Coops and Brooke from sunny Dogton Beach." Yep.
And it is beautiful weather out here.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's in the low 80s. It's fantastic.
Yep. Malcolm, I saw him the other day down at Kiwi Wombat Bar down on Beach Road. He's always enjoyed chatting with Malcolm. Alfredo at Giovanni, heat up the Greek coffee machine. That's me knocking on your door. I love this place. I wonder if he loves Thailand.
I think he does. Yeah.
Beautiful girlfriend he's got.
And we got a great group of subscribers out here.
Yeah.
And I see things happening all the time on the Facebook group, and people are forming their own little groups and going out and doing things.
Good.
And that's fantastic. That's what I wanted to see. You know, you got people to meet up every Wednesday at what's it, Chow Doi Coffee, which is great. And people meeting up on Fridays, going to play golf. People meeting up on Tuesdays to play badminton. I mean, it's great.
Chess Club, I think, is Saturday at that Chow Doi's. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting there one Saturday.
I suck at chess.
Oh, I'll play you.
Yeah, I know you would.
Yo, 12 pack, MicroStrategy.
Yep, and I love the P symbol that he gave there. Yeah, MicroStrategy is a hedge on Bitcoin, and that, like Brooke says, it gives you over the value of what Bitcoin is, and you're going to gain more Bitcoin by buying into MicroStrategy per share. So, I mean, if you bought one Bitcoin today, $93,000, or you own one Bitcoin and you bought it when it was a lot cheaper, you're never going to have more than that one Bitcoin if you buy it direct and you hold your own keys. Whereas if you buy it on MicroStrategy, every year that one Bitcoin may go up to 1.1 Bitcoin, 1.2 Bitcoin, 1.3 Bitcoin, and so forth.
On the same amount of shares.
On the same amount of shares. So a great way to build your bag.
Yeah.
And if you're not a whole coiner yet, it's a great way to get to a whole coin.
And what I love about MicroStrategy, which I'm very, very heavy in, guys, is the options. They're highly valued, so the premiums are quite high because it's a volatile stock. Now, people say, "Oh, I don't like big; it's too volatile." Well, there's ways you can harness volatility to benefit yourself. I found it through the selling calls against my stock, and I enjoy a high volatility stock because the premiums are higher. So luckily, I've been able to, survive on the premium income and still protecting. Like I usually go out at least double the strike price of what I've invested. So the worst is if my stock gets called away, I doubled the money. In the meantime, I live off the premium. So
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Robert Pierpont, I'm not making the argument to buy gold. I'm just saying gold doesn't get more valuable. Gold isn't going to 5K an ounce. I don't know, it might. Yeah, but Bitcoin could go to 500K. I think if that happened, Robert, you would see gold at 5K.
Yeah.
Especially with Bitcoin at 500K. So gold is a store of value to keep even with inflation. Well, now that's, I wonder, I'm not sure it would keep even with inflation. You'd hope it would.
You hope it would.
Yeah.
You'd hope that some country around the world would not flood the market with it, and basically dump the price of gold. It's one of those things, but there is no country around the world that can dump Bitcoin and make it go straight down because there's only 1 million left to mine. Okay, there's country around the world that hold, more than 1,000 Bitcoin or 100,000 Bitcoin. The US is one, China is another. UK actually holds some Bitcoin, the government that they seize through illicit trade. And they could, but they won't because they're all waiting to see what America's going to do.
Yep.
And, America being the strongest economy on the planet, everybody sort of follows what they do.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're going to do this, it's like, oh, America's going to jump on it. What's our investors say? Oh, buy now, quick, get it while it's this price, because in 6 months, everybody's going to have it and it's going to be this price. So I can see international adoption happening. Big things for Bitcoin next year.
Yeah. Now, I just want to comment on something. Like I know some subscribers, friends of mine. Oh, they don't. Bitcoin's not for them. They're in the S&P and the triple Qs, the stock market, and that's okay. But then, guys, go back and look. I mean, like 5 years ago, maybe you've doubled in your S&P. Your advisors said, "Oh yeah, you've done really," and guys think they've done well. But if they look at the price of a house, it's doubled. The price of your grocery basket walking out full is doubled. So are you really any further ahead? That's the key. So, don't. It's a numbers game, I guess.
Now, about a year ago, I had a subscriber of mine. Husband and a wife. I'm not going to put their names out. They're from Canada, and they wanted to move over to Thailand. I'd met them at a meet and greet, and they said, "Cooper, we're curious about getting into Bitcoin. What would you do?" You know, we haven't got a lot of money that we're prepared to invest in it. You know, we're sort of, you know, newbies to the whole thing. And I said, just buy one share of MicroStrategy or three shares or three. At the time, MicroStrategy was $200 a share. And they said, okay, you know, and we'll think about it. And, you know, I said, do your research, watch the interviews that we spoke about. And they did. They ended up buying 3 shares of MicroStrategy. Well, those 3, I said to them, I said, you can't be afraid to sell when it goes down. I said, you got to hold it for 1 year. I said, then we'll talk again after 1 year. And anyways, so they bought these 3 shares. Of course, there was a stock split. So those 3 shares are now 30 shares. There was a 10-for-1 stock split. And they originally had $600 in. They've now got
over $10,000.
Over $10,000. And they love me to bits. They said,
Sure.
thank you. I said, there's going to come a time when MicroStrategy will go down, though. You know, there may be a bull market. This was before the announcement of the new government wanting to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I said, you know, you got to time the market right. I said, there's big opportunity when it'll spike up August next year. I said, but then by October, it could be down 80%. I said, you know, so if you're looking to get out, that would be your window. I said, but if you're looking to stay in 4 years down the road, there's going to be another stock split, possibly 2 or 3.
Could happen this year, I think.
Yeah.
Next, please. Alfa Romeo, I have the Italian almond biscotti. Okay, he's talking about his Greek coffee with Johnny.
Yeah.
Daniel Hall, Danny Vega, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Yes, you are. Good one. I'm going to remember that one.
Popeye the Sailor
Man.
Man.
The Sailor Man.
Yeah, I like that.
YLOR.
Yeah.
Ken Back, the price of Bitcoin prior to a presidential election has never returned to that price.
That is true.
Yeah, it's trading water. That's fine. You know, I think until Trump actually gets inaugurated, then I think we'll start to see the fireworks.
So they go by election day, which is the 5th of November for my non-American subscribers. And they say from election day, that is it'll never go below that price. That is the new minimum price for Bitcoin.
Oh.
And on election day, it was at 70,000.
Okay.
72,000 thereabouts. Depends on what time or what side of the coast you were on.
Sure.
You know, when the polls closed, because that's what they like to go by, when the polls closed, and the announcements made, which normally sometime between 10 at night and midnight. You know, and then they say, right, that is the new low for Bitcoin. So it's somewhere between 70 and 72,000.
Tim P, thanks for another great and informative show, folks. All the best to you for 2025. I'm looking forward to more from the channel in the new year.
And thank you, Tim. We'll bring you a lot more.
Sure we will. Giovanni at Alpha, I bought enough Greek coffee for everyone in Padia. Bring your biscotti.
He did. He brought several
He bought
bags.
the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, is it potent. That's some strong coffee.
He's training me how to make it. And
yeah, he brought me over there. That was some strong coffee. I remember you and I went over there for coffee, and boy, that was some pretty strong coffee. It kept me wired all day.
Oh yeah, he knows enough to ask me, Brooke, do you want a single or double? I always take the double.
Do you? Oh yeah. God, that single had me wired all day.
He's got good coffee. Andreas, hello guys. Just like to say how amazed I am to see guys from my generation talking the future of investments. A nice surprise from the average Thailand channels. Great work to see, like mindset, guys. Yeah, we enjoy it.
It's because Bitcoin is for everybody. It's not for, you know, just for the youngsters. Us oldsters, we see the writing on the wall too. We're like, hang on,
yourself.
You know, I can remember when Apple came out, you know, and I was like, it's never going to succeed. You know, back then, people had computers. They were made by TI, Texas Instrument. Apple blew them away.
Yeah.
You know, Amazon took out a lot of, you know, companies that were, had large overheads, and they made it easy. You can order your stuff from home and it's delivered. They blew the market away. Nvidia is completely blown the market away in computer chips. They make most of the chips on the planet now. And I mean, I can remember when I was building my own computers. I would go to the computer shop and I'd say, right, I want this motherboard and I want this amount of RAM, and I need to have 1 gigabyte of RAM. That was a lot back then. I can remember when it was half a gigabyte, 512. And I was building my own computers. So things are rapidly changing, and everybody knows fiat is a dying system. Money, currency. I mean, years ago, thousands of years ago, we would trade for goods in seashells. Then it went to, copper. Then it went to silver, and then it went to gold. Well, what is copper, silver, and gold? It's a rock. You're trading for rocks, folks. Now it's paper. A piece of paper is actually, what you buy things with. And it's got a number written on it, whether it be 1 to 100 or 1,000, whatever their currency is. And the government just puts the old printing press on and prints more paper, more paper, more paper, and that's how we get by. Well, now we're moving into the digital age. It's a stepping stone. It's something that we have to do as a civilization. It costs money to print paper. Bitcoin is made by electricity. You have to have a certain amount of electricity to be able to mine one block, and you get your block rewards. So I see that's the way of the future. That's the way of the planet. We have to evolve as a species.
It is fun, Andreas. I enjoy doing the research, and times like this, I tell people, yeah, I'm just getting paid to wait.
Yeah.
Through the options,
But compoundedly, Bitcoin goes up 24% a year,
or
on average.
Actually more than that since inception.
Yeah. So that's easily double the rate of inflation. Gold will maybe keep you on par with inflation, but it's never going to put you above inflation.
True. Correct. Robert Pierpont, buy the rumor, sell the news is a typical rule of thumb. Yes, you are right. If buying Bitcoin or MicroStrategy, you are better off if buying in before the news, because if not, then it's FOMO. Time and that go very wrong.
Yes,
FOMO,
that's true.
Yeah.
When the FOMO kicks in, that's when it's time to sell.
Yeah. I don't think we're at a FOMO yet, obviously, guys.
No, because it hasn't happened yet.
No, you'll know when it is. Fear and greed index goes through the roof. You'll see $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 price jumps in Bitcoin.
You could see 100 in a day.
Yeah, it could going forward. We'll see. So that's
it depends on how many countries jump on the same bandwagon.
Yeah,
and I could see at the top of my head at least 10 doing it, at least.
Well, Jamie's Invest Answers says for sure 2025 there'll be one large government setting up a Bitcoin reserve.
And that sounds like to me it's going to be.
I would think it's but hey, there's other ones out there,
Yeah.
So we'll see. Definitely, a lot of pension funds are doing it. There's states in the U.S., individual states that are doing it.
Yeah. So Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania.
When you add all this together,
Ohio now.
Yeah. There's a big case for why Bitcoin's going to go up. So. But again, I think it'll be the new year. Giovanni, go Bitcoin. Keep me in Thailand forever. There you go.
Yeah.
Julie Perkins. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you for coming on.
Jeff Sigler. Okay, based on Coop's story, I bought 20 shares and now have 200. I love it. Thank you, but I'll give my credit to Brooke simply because he told me to watch the Saylor video. There you go. So the good you do put out does come back.
But it was based on my story. You bought it, Jeff. Why are you giving him the damn credit?
Well, who told you to buy it? Oh, yeah.
You only told him to watch the video.
Oh, soon he forgets. Yeah, but that's a great video for anybody to get initial exposure to what Bitcoin is.
Yes.
In layman's terms. It's not a real technical video. that, Jesus, you're scratching your head. What the hell did he just say? But it's a good and pretty well excellently laid out. So I still enjoy watching that video.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a great one. Yeah.
And I told my subscriber that initially bought the 3 shares that now sitting on 30 shares. I said, don't sell them. It's going to do another 10-for-1 split next year.
Yeah.
That 30 is going to be 300.
Nice. That video we're talking about here, guys, was the Tucker Carlson, Michael Saylor interview. I think it's a little over an hour. It's on YouTube. If you plug that in, you'll come up with a search. Gene says, in 1984, Berkshire stock price was $1,270. It is currently $684,908, up 53,000%. That's been a good return.
That is.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. So, you know, Bitcoin hasn't been around that long, but it's done at least that, I think, in 12 or 14 years. So interesting. Yeah. 843 Photography. What if a computer nerd flipped a switch and turned off the Bitcoin computer? Poof, it would be gone. Dave Ramsey. Yeah, well,
here's the thing. It's not on one computer.
No.
It's on hundreds of thousands of computers. Millions of computers. Everybody that's on the blockchain is connected to the network. And the network is just growing and growing and growing. China is now mining Bitcoin. Russia is now mining Bitcoin. And senators have said, you know, hey, our enemies are getting a jump on us. You know, we got to do something because we can't allow our enemies to have more Bitcoin than us.
True.
So I think we're at extremely exciting times for next year. I think next year is going to be like no other year in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Christmas time, folks. So people are out celebrating with their families, with their friends, maybe on holiday in Thailand or elsewhere on the planet. You know, they're not really looking at buying anything. They're too busy spending their money.
Quiet time in the markets.
Having fun.
Yeah.
It's a quiet time. But come next year, people are going to be selling shares and stocks because they have to take a profit to get a lower tax rate.
Yeah.
So January, I think, is going to be a very, very exciting month for Bitcoin. And on average, the year after the halving, Bitcoin goes up 30% in January. If you go back and watch the other three halvings, always in January it goes up.
And February's even better yet.
And February's even better.
I want to address that quote, Dave Ramsey. First off, Dave hasn't done enough research, in my opinion. He's a smart man. I think he's big in real estate, but there's no one person that can turn off the Bitcoin so-called computer. So that's an incorrect statement. It wouldn't be gone. So he needs to do a little more research. Obviously, he hasn't, and that's why he would say something like that. But when you look into it, there's no one nerd or one person could ever do that. So
no.
Yeah. Got to watch out for the FUD is my point, guys. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. A lot of that's out there. It's obviously from people who have done very little, if any, probably none, research on Bitcoin. The more you research it, the more you realize there is something here.
Yes.
Yeah. Alfa Romeo. Ditto that, Giovanni. He's wanting his coffee. That's what he's talking about. Jeff Sigler. I still love you, Cooper.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mark Huzinga. Australian government won't be doing Bitcoin Reserve because they're too stupid and corrupt. Never say never, Mark. You know.
And I'll tell you for why never say never. Because what did Germany do earlier this year? They dumped 50,000 Bitcoin.
Big mistake.
Huge mistake. Yeah. 6 weeks later, they would have doubled their money.
And now they're talking about buying Bitcoin
and now
back.
They're saying that, you know, German government right now is in chaos. Yeah. They had to dissolve the government, and they're going to have a new election in the early next year. And, you know, these German senators are saying, if America buys this Bitcoin Reserve, we have to follow suit. We have to.
Yeah.
You know, if not, you know, we're going to lose out on a fantastic opportunity. Because Germany's in debt too. They're in debt up to here, you know.
Well, they are.
Like America.
But it's great that we're in Thailand.
Yes.
You know, it's just, the weather's ideal. It's just like a little heaven here on Earth. Yeah. So the best of both worlds, every world. 843 Photography. He's getting roasted on X now. I think he's referring to Dave Ramsey.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is getting roasted on X.
Alpha Mail. If other countries buy Bitcoin and price increases, it's only timing. Buy, hold, and prosper. Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you have an exit plan, though. You said
I do
hits $1 million, you're selling some.
I am. I've said if this Bitcoin strategic reserve happens, I've got a plan. And the plan is at every $250,000 increment, I'm going to take off my initial amount that I put in.
Okay.
Because I would have 5x'd my money.
I see.
Yeah. So if I 5x my money, I'll take 4/5 out, leave the fifth in. I'm playing with house money. That goes up to 500,000. I'll take another 4/5 out.
And what are you going to do with the money?
Because there is going to be a correction. If it goes to $1 million, which I think is a strong possibility, if the nation states all follow suit with America, it can very easily go to $1 million. It can.
True.
There will be a 70 to 80% correction.
I see.
Fantastic time to buy back in.
Maybe buy a nice big villa in Thailand.
Maybe. Who knows?
It's called lifestyle chips.
Yeah.
You take a little lifestyle chips off the table and you use it for a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
Robert Pierpont, Warren Buffett said like 5 years ago, if there was a 5-year put on Bitcoin, he would buy lots of puts on it. He's brilliant, but would have lost his butt on that trade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He would have. And
something he doesn't understand. Now, Warren's kind of lived by the rule, hey, if I don't understand something, I'm not putting a penny into it.
Yeah.
And for years, he stayed away from technology. You know, there was some big returns, but he finally did get into Apple, so that's his technology play.
Now, what's that guy, Brooke, the owner of Microsoft?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with him, and he said if there was a way to short Bitcoin, I would do it.
And that was a while ago.
He said that
he would have lost
like
his
2
shirt.
years ago.
Yeah, he would have lost his shirt on that.
He said, but there ain't. No. He said if there was, I'd close it down tomorrow.
Well, there is a way now you can short MicroStrategy stock.
Yes.
And Saylor discusses that. Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead and short me because I ain't selling.
I ain't selling. You know what I mean? He's going to keep buying.
Yeah. So, yeah, even Bill Gates realizes, you know, Bitcoin's just too big. You can't stop it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody has opinions and, you know, there's good and bad, pros and cons. So, you know, yep, you got to pick your poison, I guess. Which one do you believe? Eddie Rojo, listen to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, not Dave. Yeah, he's good. Robert Kiyosaki. Ken Beck, then try to make people fear quantum. They're trying to make people feel quantum computing as a threat to Bitcoin network, correct?
Yes.
Quantum computing will be a threat to all other networks before the Bitcoin network.
It will be. It will not be a threat to Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin was built around the Pentagon's coding system, and it's called SHA-258.
256.
Is it 256 or 258? One of them. And basically, it's encryption proof.
Yeah.
And you would
currently
you would need 10,000 quantum computers to be able to hack Bitcoin. Well,
or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where we are right now with quantum computing, we're 20 years out before we'd ever get that far. But by that time, the encryption will be written into the Bitcoin algorithm to be quantum proof.
Yeah. So that in a nutshell is, although the computing with crypto, Bitcoin's based, you know, on encryption. And the blockchain is based on that. And these quantum computers theoretically will be able to crack any current encryption.
Correct.
But the way and the reason, in my opinion, you don't have to worry about it ever being cracked is that there's already developers of the Bitcoin chain, the blockchain, developing encryption, better encryption using quantum computers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a step process. You know, everything's getting better on the quantum side. They're looking to do this. Well, bingo, Bitcoin's catching up, keeping up, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So, but where these quantum computers are going to go, they're going to go after like the easy targets,
Yes.
the soft ones.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some of the banks are so far behind. Some of the governments are so far behind that's where they'll initially go, and you'll see the results there first. I don't think Bitcoin ever will be touched or broken. Gene, the dancing machine. If Bitcoin performs like Berkshire, the price would be $48 million per Bitcoin. Bitcoin has room to grow.
It has a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
Because it's only at early adoption phase. It's only been on the stock market for 11 months, folks. It has outdone every stock since the stock market's conception. BlackRock has a gold ETF. It outperformed gold. What gold did in 15 years, Bitcoin's done in 11 months. And it's outperformed it on the stock exchange for BlackRock. Can't be, it can't be messed with.
Robert Pierpont, quantum computing will be a threat to wallets, not so much the network. They could empty your wallet if it's online.
That is a possibility.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah.
But again, Robert, I think you'll see improvements to storage and wallets going forward, better encryption to counteract that issue. And, you know, if you do not, trade or use that wallet, apparently there's less chance it ever gets broken into. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
And the final comment goes out to
Malcolm. Best part of gold, it can't be hacked.
No, but they can dig and get more
gold bug.
They can always dig and get more gold.
We love you, Malcolm.
Yeah. Yep. And so that is the end of today's questions and comments. Thank you all for coming on and joining us. Happy advanced New Year to each and every one of you. Those that are out here in Thailand that I've met personally and I now call friends, thank you for coming on and joining us. And those of you that are not yet here in Thailand, I look forward, and Mr. Schneider looks forward to calling you friend one day soon.
Thailand's a place to be, guys.
Yep. So until next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Stay well.
God bless you all. Happy New Year, and we'll see you on Saturday.